Yeah, let me tell you, I ain't perfect. These other rappers lie to you in verses. I show the fans my heart, not the surface. My whole life a circus.
Muddy Mo, Muddy Mo, whoa, hey, Muddy Mo, Muddy Mo, bing. What's up, crypto world? It's your boy Muddy Mo, aka the King of Minnows, aka the Dapp White Paper Gawk, and this is Dapp and DeFi Quickies, Chapter 4. Alright, so you already know, man, it's Muddy Mo. I'm gonna come to y'all with something original. At least I hope it's original. And just talking about some different subjects in the Dapp and DeFi community. So let's jump right off into it. Bing! So the first quickie we're gonna be talking about today is UniPower and static power. So UniPower is a ERC-20 token that's essentially made to be used on Uniswap. Now I'm gonna let y'all know off the top, man, UniPower is fire. Alright, it's dope. So to start off, what makes UniPower fire off the jump is that it's 1 million tokens total available. That means it's a very, very low supply. At the beginning of this contract, all of the UniPower tokens were put onto Uniswap. So that basically just means that the people or the market is going to determine the price of UniPower. Alright, that's fire. We got some new concepts going on here. Now, if you look into the economics of this thing, if you look into the economics of UniPower, it's all about supply and demand. Alright, and with that little bit of supply, it's no cap. There's no cap to this. It's going to probably only go up over time. Now, it also has a hourglass contract that's connected to it. So static power is the hourglass that's connected to UniPower. Now, real quick about hourglass structures, if y'all don't know, hourglass structures in the Dapp and DeFi community is one of, if not the most consistent and time-tested types of contracts. All right, we know they work. So to bring in the Tron contracts a little bit, the vast majority of the Tron smart contracts that are successful are because they have an hourglass somewhere built into it. Now, UniPower comes from none other than the developer, Mr. Blobby himself, Hank. This is fire, Hank. And I will tell you, Hank upgrading, y'all. Hank might be trying to come for that #1 dev spot. I don't know. But the UI on UniPower is like night and day, man. Hank is a great dev. And the success of this project, the success of UniPower, most of it probably comes from the name recognition of Hank himself. All right. But one thing I do want to talk to Hank about, Hank, listen. Now this is fire. And I think UniPower might be close to being a finished product, which is good. But don't forget about Frag, bro. We still in them contracts. Don't forget about Tron Prime. We still got to have some improvements. I know you work fast, Hank, but we still need improvements on those old contracts, all right? But UniPower overall, man, this might be one of the ERC-20 tokens that's just going to stay around. And I think it's just going to keep rising and rising. I think UniPower is going to get more and more expensive. And as always, the early adopters are going to eat the most, but there's going to be new people that's coming in and want to be a part of UniPower, especially because of static power, which is the hourglass dApp that's associated with it. All right, so that's UniPower. Bing! Right, so for our second quickie in Dapp DeFi Quickies Chapter 4, we're going to be talking about the developer tiers. All right, and what do I mean by that? So just like in anything, there's different levels and there's different tiers. All right, and here in the Dapp and DeFi community, there's different levels and different tiers of developers. It just is. All right. If you were going to get a car, would you rather choose to get a Lambo, a Aston Martin, a Ferrari, or would you rather have a Honda Civic or a Dodge Neon? Right. So it's different levels to this. We, the community, are most likely going to start migrating to developers that we know and that are trusted. All right. And keeping the energy behind those developers to keep making new projects and keep improving the projects they already have. The reason that is because of so many developers that have exit scammed, or so many developers that are just copying and pasting code just to make a quick buck. Just like any company, the developer brands in this space really matter. And one thing that's interesting about that is that, you know, us users, but we'll get in a contract blind based on who the developer is. All right, even if it's a project that's unproven, we'll still get in that project based on trust factor and based off of their track record of what they've already brought to the community. All right. So, Muddy Mo, who are these top tier developers? Who are they? Name them, bro. No particular order. All right. So we got Tony, otherwise known as BT or Bank Teller. All right, and he's responsible for the party platform that was the ETH contract, and also what he's most known for is the bankroll smart contracts. All right, that's his platform. Another top tier developer is none other than Mr. Blobby. Hank himself. All right, we just talked about Hank, but Hank is responsible for EtherGoo, Frag, and Tron Prime, and also UniPower. Another developer, but Satoshi. Now Satoshi's been a part of a bunch of stuff, but most notably to the community, he's been a part of Tokenaire's projects. All right, and to Muddy Mo, the reason he's a top tier developer is because of what he's done with the HEX contracts. He's pretty much made Tokenaire a staple for HEX contracts. And the fourth top tier developer is none other than Hayden Adams, all right, the developer of Uniswap. And it kind of goes without saying that, you know, Uniswap is important to the space now and going forward. But what he's done with Uniswap in the liquidity pools is bar none phenomenal. All right. Now, before I keep going, man, make sure I hit that like, make sure I hit that subscribe, and then make sure I hit that bell right next to it, man. And also, man, if y'all want to talk about anything Dapp and DeFi related with Muddy Mo, check me out on Telegram at Muddy Mo World of Crypto. All right. Bing. All right, so it comes a time in Dapp and DeFi Quickies where Muddy Mo gives y'all a little food for thought. All right. Just a little something to chew on. So today, Muddy Mo needs to talk about the type of influencers that's in the Dapp and DeFi community. All right. One thing we all know is that these contracts that's coming out, they need to be promoted. All right. Right now, the community's too small. It's way too small. So we need promotion. Where does promotion come from? It comes from influencers. All right. So as an influencer, especially in this community, the Dapp and DeFi community, the DDC, you need to know who you are and what kind of content you're trying to make and what is your audience. Y'all have to find y'all place in what we're doing because it helps us all grow. All right. And one thing we tired of seeing is just the same information flipped over and over again. Boring. So now there's 4 different types of DDC influencers. All right. And I can relate each of these different type of influencers to cooking or how people cook their food. All right. But I will say before I get into it, man, that all these different types of influencers are needed. So the first type of influencers we have are bloggers. And if we compare it to cooking, bloggers would be the ones that's cooking in the microwave. You know what I mean? They got the hot pockets and the pizza rolls and all that stuff. They cook it up quick. All right. So they generally have short, quick content. It's more freestyle or more off the top. People like to hear people just talk from the heart. So bloggers typically do that. Now, bloggers typically put out their content daily or bi-daily. So you see them a lot. Sometimes they're too in the moment. It's talking about everything that's happening today. Another thing is that bloggers typically don't get in depth with their research. I think they build more off of emotions. Their content doesn't have a lot of replay value. It's a lot of clickbait. So that's bloggers, all right? The second type of influencer is what I call informers. Influencers that like to inform the public of what's going on. And this is similar to like cooking in a skillet or a Foreman grill. Cooking your grilled chicken, your grilled cheese, your bacon, your eggs. So informers love being first to tell you about a project and also love to give inside information, especially if they can get it first. Generally don't mind coming at somebody or calling a deb or even another influencer out on stuff. Informers keep the space honest. They post generally like short to mid-length content. And one thing about their content has little to no replay value because it's generally time capsuled. So if they're talking about, oh, this contract dumped or this contract did this, that usually has a small window of time that content is going to be prevalent. People might not come back and watch their content often. The next type of influencer is an analyst, all right? So analysts, I can compare them to like somebody who cook on a barbecue grill, right? You know, you got to get your coals hot and you got to wait for the fire and you got to cook it the right way. So with analysts, they're more quantitative. Quantitative just means they're more fact-based and they're really big on numbers. Typically, analysts don't choose a side and they dive deep into a specific subject, but they're almost like the gatekeepers for the DDC. Now, when they make content, it can range from short to long, just depending on what they're talking about. But analysts generally like to be right or like to have 100% proof of anything before they put it out. Their content carries a decent amount of replay value, all right, because it's factual. So that is analysts, all right. The fourth type of influencer in the DDC, and this is where Muddy Mo fits, is the content creators. If you're talking about cooking, you can liken this to that slow cook, that crock pot. Y'all ever come home and your mama, whomever at the house, they cook up something for like 6 hours and it's never ready. They still add seasoning, but they're letting that seasoning get in that food and it's gonna taste real good, like second day spaghetti. But the main thing about content creators is that they want it right and want to be a vessel for new people to come into the space. One knock is that The content is generally longer, maybe mid to long, and it's slow to release content. You making sure it's right. However, content creators dive deep and are very, very thorough in what they're talking about. All right, they usually have done a lot of research and know what they're talking about. All right, content creators are the bigger picture creators. Like, they think of the bigger picture, what's going to be happening a year, 2 years, 10 years from now. They usually try to base their content around the long-term prospects of a smart contract could be. Content creators can easily bring mass adoption, mostly because their content has high replay value. Content creators do tutorials, how-tos, and some basics to get people onboarded into the community. Alright, so that's content creators. Out of all 4 of these different type of influencers in the space, any of these influencers can and should be entertaining. Alright? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? But entertainment is an added bonus onto any of these type of influencers. Alright? Overall, this money most food for thought. Influencers, if you ain't heard anything else, make sure you pick a lane and keep your content based around the people. Alright? If you do that, you're going to be successful and the DDC will be successful. Alright? Bing! Alright, so for our third quickie, we're going to be talking about HEX2T / HEX2X. Alright? So HEX2X is an ERC-20 token, and this is a great bounce back and a really good look for the Pyrabank platform. One thing about HEX2T or HEX2X, it could be the next Hex. It really could. And since it could possibly be the next Hex, I don't like the fact that they used the Hex name. I don't think that was necessary. But it makes sense because it's kind of giving respect to Richard Harden Hex for what it did. So that's cool. But HEX2X, obviously, if I say this through Pyrabank, it has an hourglass contract connected to it, and it's doing phenomenal right now. Another thing about HEX2X is that people trust Pyrabank. We've been in Pyrabank, multiple different contracts. So now down the road, HEX2T, HEX2X will also have a AA lobby just like Hex does, but those who are early adopters, just like anything, will most likely benefit the most. So another thing about HEX2T, HEX2X is who is led by. It's led by a number of things. I think Number of Things is a likable dude, man, and I think that's good because if you look at other platforms, look at successful platforms, they have a face in front of it. Now, he didn't quit his job. He went to the job and said, F you, you're cool. So that's faith, man. He got 100% all in on this contract or this space, and that's fire. I think that's good, man, because that's really putting your money where your mouth is. And I only think that brings in more people because they trust him more because he needs this. One thing that Number of Things does for H2T or H2X is that he promotes his project. So now, something else about HEX2T, HEX2X is that it has a high number of tokens, adding an opportunity for inclusion. People coming in can get 200,000-300,000 tokens and feel like they got a lot, even if they didn't spend a lot. So that's dope. Having a lot of tokens in anything gives you a good feeling. So that's HEX2T and 2X, all right? And we might just have a Money Mo tutorial coming soon. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Bing. So for our last quickie of today, we're going to be talking about Uniswap and the ERC-20 Frenzy that's going on right now. Alright, people who haven't been around for a while in this space, I will tell you, it's exciting to see all these coins coming out. It's exciting to see what Uniswap is doing with these liquidities. I think it's really going to create a lot of value for a lot of people. I got to do that old Jamie Foxx. We got to hit the brakes for a minute because Ethereum contracts is something that we're coming back to. Now, even though a lot of these smart contracts and tokens are doing well now, many are not. And to know what's going to happen in the future, you got to take a look into the past. All right, we've already been here. And while Ethereum has a bigger cash flow than, say, a Tron or an IOST, there was a moment in the past that y'all might not know about that all the ETH contracts start scamming out. And this is what brought Tron to the forefront. Alright, that's why you see a lot of veteran users and a lot of veteran influencers are not that excited about a Hex jumping price or not that excited about a token jumping price. We've seen this before. However, if money mugs aren't anything about the previous ETH contract wave, you need to know this. Picking the right contracts to be in is very important. Alright, it's not wise. You can do what you want, you know, not financial advice. Everybody do what they want. We all grown people, all right? Y'all grown. You know what I mean? But it does matter what contracts you get in, okay? These developers especially the ones that copy and paste code, will start making contracts to scam out on specific users and influencers because they know you're going to jump into anything. All right, so be careful, especially minnows. Now, the first wave, what happened? Let me give y'all a history lesson. All those scams really killed Ethereum. Not only just that, Ethereum transaction fees and the transaction times also killed it too. But those scam contracts really killed it. All right, so just think about it. If you was early in Hex, congratulations. All right, you're probably in the green right now. That's good, but you have to understand, all those gains you made is not worth you giving them back to another contract, especially one that doesn't have open code, especially one that doesn't have a clear roadmap of what they're trying to do. Pump and dumps, yes, they can make you money. However, if you're in this to make a couple hundred, a couple $1,000s, great. This is what you can do, quick, in and out. But if you want to come back weeks, months from now and see your value continuously rise, you have to think with a more of a long-term mindset. Let's not let what happened back then affect what we got going on in the future. All right, because through Uniswap and these ERC-20 tokens, there will be gems. All right, but we don't want that to get clouded by the BS that's out here. All right, bing. All right, so that was Dapp DeFi Quickies. Chapter 4, alright? In this one we talked about UniPower, then we talked about different Dapp and DeFi developer tiers, then we touched on HEX2T, HEX2X, and then we finished up talking about Uniswap and the current ERC-20 Frenzy that's going on, alright? Make sure y'all hit that like, man, get Muddy Mo algorithm together, alright? Hit that subscribe and then hit that bell next to it. Also check me out on Telegram at Muddy Mo World of Crypto, alright? Y'all want to hear more? Stay tuned for chapter 5. Bing!